Hello, good evening, or hello, you lovely, lovely people. You know, tonight's been one of those revelation nights. You know, sometimes you get a little bit burnt out, a little bit overwhelmed by all of what's been going on in my life for so long now that you forget the enthusiasm and enjoyment that you used to get doing videos, spending the time to come up with a thought pattern, put together an idea, and just talk about it. When I lived in La Union, it was quite easy really because where I was located in Negillion, it was quite simple to get on a jeepney and just pop down to Bawang or even into San Fernando or out to San Juan, wander along the beach, catch a bus up to Baguio, spend the day up there, wander around the streets of Negillion and bring my thoughts together. But I realized then, or should I say, I realize now that all of that has gone, along with all of the enthusiasms that I used to have for doing videos. And this evening I thought, why do I keep doing this? I have people around me that I thought were my friends, but clearly they're not. They're, I suppose, they're acquaintances really, because friends don't go off and on. They don't go hot and cold on you. People don't treat people like that. When a friend is having difficulty or finding it hard to deal with things, you like to feel that they're there to listen to you. Not to judge you, but just to listen to you. Not to push you into one way or the other. But sometimes, I've been here probably nearly 12 weeks now, all up. And I realise that there's only one person I can talk to, really. That's myself and the lady that owns this house. But again, she's a Filipina, and there's only a certain amount of what we can talk about and end up having at least a feeling that somebody understands what you're talking about. But things don't change, the world doesn't change. So I thought to myself, what can I do about it? What am I able to create my own destiny with? And I thought, how did it all start? When I came here to the Philippines, how come I got locked into this YouTube thing? How come I felt the need? And you know what it was? I have a fascination of building. I have a fascination and love of constructing something. And I have a dream to put it into context and actually see it grow in front of you. Like a relationship, really, I suppose. And the first channel I ever watched was a guy from Virginia. His name was James, and his wife's name is Ness. And they have an absolutely amazing property on a subdivision, in a subdivision, I should say. And I must admit, when I first saw it go up, I thought, whoa, what a big house that's going to be. But in reality, it shrunk in size as one always sees a property bigger at the start than what it really ends up being. Still a big house, still a big property. Beautiful landscaping, really well thought out ideas. Even to the point later on, once the house and boat had been built, James and Ness set out to put a swimming pool, a recreational area, to their home. They call it Villa Belize. The channel is My PI Dream. I've been subscribed from day one that I discovered them. No drama, no innuendo, nothing, just information. The guy has a mind full of DIY ideas. He's a magician. He's a musician, as his wife is too. And he shares that with you, along with his plentiful videos about helping those in around the area. He's taken us on tours of homes that are being built around him. Again, fascination. You know, if you're a builder or anything to do with the construction industry, you'd know what I mean. It's a feeling of enjoyment, fascination, almost a little bit envious, really, when you see it happening, because unless we're doing it for a living, it's not able to be recreated so easily here in the Philippines. You can build your own home, but once it's built, that's it. You know, you can do projects, you can add additions, you can put features on it. But again, that takes money. And many of us who build homes, that's really, I suppose, the long and the short of it. You're building a home for a future with the woman that you've chosen. And of course, if that goes sour, you leave behind all of those dreams and ambitions that you wanted to achieve in your lifetime, but sadly they've been cut down before the final nail goes in. When you leave, of course, and you go back, which I've done on a few occasions, it's a shock to see the home again in a different light, one where you're not there each day to fix this or fix that. It's not to suggest that the house is crumbling in 12 weeks, but it certainly hasn't got the same attraction to me as it did before I left. And sadly, when you relocate to somebody else's home, it's very hard to maybe get as enthused about doing things. Yes, fixing lights, fixing doors that don't shut properly, little minor things, almost not sounding rude, but almost non-event things. You know, they're just little things to do around the place, but nothing that you can get your teeth into. You can't really look at a place that's not yours and say, well, don't you think we should do this? Or maybe we might do that. It would be great to feel you could, but it's not always possible. Therefore, what is the answer? The $60 million question. Because when you move on, you've really got two choices, and that is to move on, or maybe just not to have moved on in the first place. And that's the conundrum that many people do have, including myself. There's been times where I've thought, what the hell am I doing? But then you're reassured by those around you that there's hope, there's a chance that things might get better. And that's what you hold on to. That's what you build upon. Like so many of you expats have this idea that it's going to be an instant romance. It's going to be an instant chemistry and connection to every woman that you come across, which is not true. It doesn't happen like that. You have to become friends first before you are really able to say that she's even your girlfriend. Because if you aren't friends, how can you take it any further than just friendship? And of course, everybody will always say, oh, yes, he's dumped that one, he's got another one, done this, he's done that. Nobody knows. Nobody knows what anybody does. We just do what we think is right and what is best. So I've decided to somehow search deeper as to what, as a corny expression, the meaning of life. At 77 in May 25, when I reach the grand old age of 77, I'm hoping that by then I will have started to get my head into the right space. I've given up on Americans. They're never going to change. They're never going to see the point that I'm trying to raise, that so many of them are so full of themselves. They don't want advice. They don't want you to even give them guidance as to what they should really be looking at, instead of constantly looking at their wallet, talking about their exploits in the world. Because most good, God-fearing Americans know what I'm talking about. But I still get these stupid remarks. I had a dozen or so this week from deadheads. I don't even know if they're Americans, but they're standing up for Americans. And I look and try and get some idea as to where they're from by their name, checking out online. But most of them are American. But they're Americans that want to have a go at me when I'm not having a go at them. But somebody also suggested that if I was not bashing Americans, but if I wasn't, my subscribers would be higher. My goodness, did I think that 4 years ago that this old mug sitting in front of a camera talking about things that pop up in his own head, my head, would have almost 9,000 subscribers by now? Never dreamed about it. I look at some channels and I just, no idea why they've got 50, 60, 100,000 subscribers. What are they doing that makes people think that they're worth watching each day? Some of them that have got that kind of figure, I watch them and I must be missing something. They talk a load of garbage, but for some reason, they seem to have all these subscribers. I can only assume that maybe they come out of America, and that in America, it's easy to get subscribers. Fellow Americans supporting the channel, maybe. Maybe that's what it's all about. Or maybe they just simply buy their subscribers. Because you look at the number of views they get, just doesn't balance. If you have 100,000 subscribers, wouldn't you have at least 50,000 views to each video? Or even 30? They're lucky if they get 1,000, sometimes 2 or 3. That's it. What, from 100,000 subscribers? Doesn't ring true. And I can't be bothered to try and work out why, because it makes no difference to me anyway, because I'm not into it for money. And at the end of the day, it's just me and you. And if you like listening to me, you like watching my thoughts, I appreciate it. I do appreciate that some of you have been with me right from the beginning almost, or certainly for a large number of the years that I've been doing it. But out of this situation, I'm hoping that I can somehow move away from having to talk about Americans. No point. No point. I don't need to talk about anybody anymore. And to be quite honest, I think I'm looking at winding the channel completely down to nothing in the next few months. Simply because, again, what's the point? That's it, guys. You have a great day. Bye.